How many of you love to be lost? Come on, raise your hands. Who likes to be lost? How many of you hate being lost so much you're willing to ask for directions? Yeah, there you go. There's the divide. I hate being lost. I'll ask for directions all day long. I don't like being lost so much. This new series is talking about how we find our way in life, finding a new way in life. And I want to talk about a story that's not so ancient. It's just from a few years ago when I spent several years in California. I moved there in 2001 and had a couple different jobs before I kind of landed with the church. And now, California is a unique place. It's more than a state. It's almost like a country. It has such diversity and so many different parts to it. So what you have to appreciate is that California has two mountain ranges, one that goes right along the western coast and one that goes along the eastern border of the state. And so they kind of wrap around it, and in the center it creates this long flat bowl, and then the both mountain ranges come to a close at the top and the bottom. And so you get a lot of amazing mountains around there. I was in the valley and driving north. I already lived in the north above Sacramento, but I was heading further north. It's a big state, long state. Heading north, and it was early in the morning, and suddenly, as the sun was starting to rise, it was still kind of that dusky, kind of everything still in shadow type of a moment, especially with the mountain ranges on the east. As the sun was rising, you know how the clouds will kind of catch some of the sunlight? Well, I saw Mount Shasta at the far north end of the mountains. And it is so tall. It's 14,000 feet. It's one of the tallest mountains in California. It's a snow-capped mountain. It was catching the rays of the sun before anything else. And so you're kind of driving up in this murky shadow of early morning. And out ahead of me, it's just straight north. You're just staring at it. It just started to glow as the snow caught the sun, and it just kind of glowed, and it called to me. That was in 2002, and I sensed what it was saying, and that, come, Noel, and climb me. And I said yes to it. It was a very spiritual moment for me. I'm like, yes, I see clarity in my life, right? And we can have that about our lives of going, we kind of start out and we go, man, I got some hopes and some dreams. There's aspirations that I have, things that I want to see happen in my life, and I feel a calling to, there's a career that I want to pursue. There's a relationship that I want to pursue. There's a kind of a whatever that you kind of go, man, this is going to set my life right. I know that that's what I'm supposed to do, and we kind of head out, and I had that. In fact, I knew it so well that a few years later, I never gave up on the dream. That was 2002. In 2006, as I got to be part of the church, hang on. Go ahead and put up the, oh, no, we're not there yet. Yeah, we're not there yet. I'm sorry. I lost my way. Can I ask directions, please? What part of the sermon am I in? Oh, for crying out loud. So when I got with the church, we're going to play that part here. I got a group of guys together and said, hey, you know what? We're going to go climb Mount Shasta, and I built a slide for it, and this was its slide. Can we restart that? I got up and I said, if I have to explain that, you're not invited. Does it call to you? Does it dare you to come and say, climb me? And so I got a ragtag of guys, I don't know, there's probably about a dozen of us that are like saying, yes, we've heard that call, and we're gonna do it. And so we do that in life too. We kind of have this dream, this hope that we're gonna go. You know what? That's where I want to go. That's where I want to be. That's what I want to accomplish. Go ahead. Now you can get to the slides. And so when we do that, when we have that sense of going, okay, that's what we're after, we understand that there's work ahead of us, right? Life doesn't just hand you anything. You've got to earn it. You've got to put in the work. You've got to prepare right. And so that's what I started to do. I began to go, okay, I've got to read about Mountain Shasta. I got to find out what's involved in this, what it's going to take. How do you get prepared? What are the different steps to it? The type of equipment that you're going to need. This is a snow-capped mountain year-round, so you have to be prepared for it. It's 14,000 feet from where you would start. It's a 7,000-foot elevation, about 10 miles, so it takes several hours to do it, and it is dangerous and treacherous. There are parts that are a little treacherous as you're going up there. And so I began to prepare. I knew I had to get in shape. I was already in pretty good shape at the time, but I was like, I got to get in better shape, certainly better shape than I am right now. And so there was another a trail near my home. It was about a 9-mile trail that went to Feather Falls. It was really nice. It wasn't mountain climbing, but it had elevation, and it was just kind of a good solid workout. And so I started hiking that on a weekly basis. And I was like, well, I've got to carry a backpack of equipment. So I found some dead weight. I got my son, Ben. He was in my backpack. I don't have a picture. I need to dig up one of those pictures. And he was my hiking buddy. We went out there all the time, hiking 9 miles around, getting ready for Shasta. He loved it. I loved it. We actually even did a pre-test. There was another mountain, Mount Lassen, that was in our neighborhood. It's only 10,000, and it's not generally snow covered. It can get some snow during the winter time, but it usually goes off. It's a steep climb, but a steadier climb. A lot of cutbacks. Lots of people can just kind of do it in an afternoon. We went there, as kind of okay, we're building up to Shasta, so we're going to take care of Lassen. We were putting in the work. I was getting the discipline. I was figuring stuff out. I found a guy that had already climbed Shasta. I said, "You're part of our group. You're gonna help us figure some stuff out. That we want to have somebody that's already been on the trail, right?" And so we put this stuff together. And you do that too, right? In life of going, you have your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to apply myself. I'm going to go to school, or I'm going to find somebody that knows that can teach me, or I'm going to invest in this relationship. I'm going to do the work that needs to be done so that I can see the achievements in my life. I want to get somewhere and go there. And so I do the work. I position myself correctly so that I can get to the top of the mountain. So we had done all this work and all the prep, and the fateful day came. It was in July of 2006. We gathered and we drove up. It's a couple miles away. What you have to appreciate is that when I heard Shasta call to me, I wasn't this close. I was like 130 miles away. Can you fathom that? Seeing something 130 miles away? We can see 5, 10, we're kind of impressed, maybe 15. 130 miles away. This is a massive mountain. And so we went there. We were ready for the challenge. We knew our course. This is the course that we're going to take. It's called Avalanche Gulch. Isn't that just warm your heart? Avalanche Gulch. It settled every fear my wife had at that point. It wasn't like we had 2 babies at a home and a third one on the way. We did. We go and you get into the city of Mount Shasta. You got to rent your crampons, because you're not just putting on hiking boots and going up this thing. You have to have crampons. You have to have an ice axe. There are parts of it where if you slip and fall, you could slide hundreds of feet. You've got to know how to stop yourself. You've got to know how to dig in. You've got to be prepared. There are dangerous parts of this. And so we head out, and you're feeling pretty manly about this. You're driving up, and it just gets bigger and bigger. It's impressive, 130 miles away. you get right on top of this thing and you're like, oh yeah, I made the right decision here. And then you come to the trailhead and it's called Bunny Flat. So all the testosterone doesn't feel so good about that, but that's what they named it. I don't know why. It started out as Bunny Flat, and you park and you're getting on all your gear, because what we're going to do is you do it in 2 stages. You have to go to base camp because you can't, when you climb this, you have to be turning back by about noon, 1 o'clock. Shasta is so big, so tall, it creates its own weather, and weather can turn on a dime. No one stays up there. You have to come back down. In fact, the highest that anybody stays is the 3rd blue thing, Lake Helen. Some of the more aggressive people, they'll camp up there. But we are going to camp at the horse camp, that second dot. So we were just going to do a 1-hour climb from the trailhead to the horse camp. We had to take our gear, tent, sleeping bag, the whole get, all our food. It's just a horse camp is just a plot of ground where you kind of set up your stuff. It's right still inside the tree, so you have some protection there. And so we started out full of vim and vigor and going, yes, we're going to take this, we're going to go there, we're going to sleep the night, and then we're going to get up about 3 in the morning, because it takes so long, because if you've got to turn around by noon, you've got to have the time to get up there and come back. And so we headed out and we went right up this trail, and we got to, there's multiple trails. We got to our first kind of divide and called up the guy that had done this before. Hey, which way would we go? Hey, we're supposed to go right. And so we headed right. And we headed off, and the easy thing about climbing a mountain is go up, right? I mean, if you're going up, you're climbing the mountain. So we're feeling pretty good. We're elevating and going up and going up. But we start to kind of notice that there are fewer and fewer people around us. But whatever, we're going up the mountain. It's okay. And then the trail kind of stops being so much of a trail and just kind of a way that we're walking. And then we got into some ravines where, we had to ask our guide, well, now where? Because it's not very obvious where this thing's going. Well, we've got to go up that steep bank. That one where we're climbing on our hands and knees? Yes. Yeah, we got to go up. That's the right way. And so we're like doing stuff. We're like, I don't know that we're on the trail anymore, but hey, he's been here before, so we're going to listen to him, right? And so this 1-hour trek now has turned into 2 hours. And we've been wandering in some pretty things, like forget that there's a path. There's no path. All of us, we're not saying it out loud, but we're going, there's no path. We're just kind of hiking up a mountain, and we're getting pretty shaky about this. And then finally, we saw 2 guys. They were like angels. We were like, see, we're not so far off. There's other people here. They looked at us like we were penguins in Pennsylvania. You don't belong here. What are you doing here? And we were like, well, we're trying to get to base camp. We're trying to get to the horse camp. And they're like, you're not at horse camp. You're not even near horse camp. You actually, you're starting to climb the mountain. If you go anymore, you're summiting. And we're like, oh, that's not what we want. We just want to get to base camp. And they're like, no, it's somewhere way over there. You've got to go to the left. You went right. You were supposed to go left. I can't describe the emotions of that moment. There is the head sagging, right, part of it, because you're tired, and you're like, oh, I can't believe that we went the wrong way. But there's also this elation of going, oh, we are in the wrong place. That's good, right? I'm glad to know this finally, that we've gone the wrong way, because we didn't want to say it out loud, and we were pretty sure, but now we've got confirmation. We need a course correction. And so there was a little bit of relief. Okay, we're going to make the right. We're going to go to the left. We're going to get there. We're off course now. Of course, there's still no trail. So we're still making this up. We don't know how far or close we are to the horse camp. We just know it's that way. And so we start heading that way. Isn't that what happens in life? We've got our course. We've got our aspirations. We've got things that we go, hey, these are the things that I want to see happen in my life, that I want to achieve, that I want to have, and life is going to be good, and we do the work, we do the preparation, And then we head out and we hit some of those choices. And they may not even feel like significant choices in the moment, but suddenly trails don't feel like trails anymore. And you're like, wait a minute, this isn't quite what I was expecting. This isn't what the work that I put into was preparing me for. I thought I was on track. I thought I had myself in the right place. And you start to get that unnerving feeling of going, whoa, this is way more than what I signed up for. Why aren't we where I'm supposed to be at? I thought I'd already have arrived by now. And here I'm lost in the wilderness. And I'm just guessing at this point. I didn't think I'd be guessing. And my legs are tired. They're burning. And my pack is getting really heavy. And I'm wondering why I have all this stuff. And we wonder how we got lost on this way. We know we're still on the mountain. But man, we are not where we want to be at. The pandemic did that for some folks. I don't know that it so much created it as much as it heightened that experience of going, whoa, I'm not where I thought I would be. Whether that's financially, relationally, just life goals, maybe it's even yourself, just kind of who you've become or who you're becoming, and just going, this isn't where I set off for. And I don't know how I got here, and I'm not really sure where to go from here. I just know that here isn't the right place. So we left that spot of those two guardian angels, and we headed left. And we're still going over some pretty mean ravines and wandering through the woods, just trying to guess where we're supposed to be at. And finally, we break out into the open. And in front of us is a deep ravine of snow. And it is actually Avalanche Gulch. So you could look right up the mountain. You could see towards the mountain peak. You could see down there. And we were like, so where's horse camp? Nobody could see it. You know, we felt pretty good, like we're getting close, but we're not really sure where this thing is at. And so somebody pulled out a map, but it wasn't, they weren't reading that right. They're like, well, we don't really even know where we're at on this map, so how can we tell where the horse camp's supposed to be? And that's when we see a skier coming down. We're like, hey, he's been up here, obviously he knows what he's doing. So we wave him down, he comes over, we're like, we're looking for a horse camp. He goes, I think it's down the hill from here. And we're like, really? Yeah, I think that's where you need to go, is you need to go down. And we went, well, at least it's going down rather than going up, because our legs are tired here. It's been over 2 hours of walking. It was supposed to be a 1 hour walk. We're over 2 hours at this point. And so we start heading downhill. We thought maybe 5-10 minutes, 15, 20, half an hour later, we come down and we're getting into a clearing. And you know what we saw? Oh, I screwed up. I'm lost in this sermon. I don't know what's wrong with me here. Yeah. All right, well, where that's it. Well, we came down the mountain, and that's what we saw. And that's why this is true. Desire without knowledge is not good. You know, we had all the enthusiasm, we had done all the work, we were persevering, we were trying to keep a good positive attitude even when we kind of sensed that we were off case. But desire without knowledge is not good. And how much more hasty feet miss the way. Thought I had done everything right, thought we had assembled the right team, brought in a guide that had gone there before, was listening, got some good advice, got some bad advice, and all it did was get us back to the bunny flat. Now almost 3 hours. 3 hours of walking. It was supposed to be a 1 hour walk. This is with all the full gear. 1 hour walking, we're at 3. And that sense of going, and now we've got to start over again. I don't feel like starting over again. My legs are done at this point already. I've already climbed the mountain. I climbed parts on the mountain that you weren't supposed to climb, let alone, and now I've just come down that trail and I'm going to walk back up that trail? You're nuts. I'm just done, right? And we get that place in life. Not only do we get lost, not only do we get that sense of going, man, this is not what I signed up for, we can get back to a place where it's not just kind of, hey, I get to begin again. It's like, I'm at the starting place again? You've got to be kidding me. And now I'm tired, and I don't have the energy, and my enthusiasm is now out the window. I want a different way. I don't want to just retrace my steps. And we could get there in life. It was a very hard moment. It wasn't so bad when we had the two angels in the forest, because at least there was a course correction. Now you knew the full truth of it. And you're just going, whew. This was supposed to be an hour, and then we're going to climb the mountain tomorrow, and I'm already spent. It makes us think of another proverb that says, there is a way that appears to be right. We think we've done it all right. We prepared. But in the end, it looks like death. It's a dead end. It's a starting over again now that you are spent. And we wonder where the strength is going to come from, where the energy is going to come from. Is all it takes is another mistake and I'm back at another dead end? We headed back up that trail because that was our only option. It was either that or go home. I remember coming to the point where we had that fateful decision. It really wasn't a remarkable spot. It was just a divide in the road, that's all. We chose right, and all we had to do was go left. I know it was left because I had just walked down the hill that way. The mountain, not the hill, the mountain that way. And I considered that moment of going, if I had only known the power of that moment, if I had gone this way rather than that way. But here I am, and so we start walking up there. It's only 3 miles to horse camp. Those are the 3 longest miles of my life. I was tired, but there was a little bit of embarrassment and shame of going, we just walked down this. Literally, these are my footsteps I'm stepping into going back up. And horse camp was where we had met that skier. It was just across the ravine. That's all we had to do was cross the ravine and we'd have been there, but we had to double back. So it was about a 4-hour hike. That was supposed to take 1 hour. Man, I was not as enthused about climbing Shasta the next day. We were still there, but we made camp. We're going to figure it out. But boy, it was a tough way. It was a lesson of going, there was a way that appeared to be right, but in the end was a dead end. That's what this series is about. It's about finding a new way. Maybe you're in that place of going, this is not where I wanted to be. I thought I would be further along. I thought I was going to achieve something great or have something great in my life, even good in my life. We're not just talking about kind of shallow fame, just good things in your life. You're going, yeah, I strive for those. I did the work. I thought I made all the right choices, but here I find myself in this place that I don't want to be. And I want a new way. That's what the series is about. And in fact, that's what our small groups are about. Our small groups are about the material of the life you've always wanted. Slight overstatement there. This isn't a 5-step piece of going, here's how to get what you want in life. 5 easy steps to success. That's not what this is. In fact, part of finding a new way maybe is finding some new goals. In this small group, we're talking about spiritual disciplines for everyday people. A different way to approach life. We're not going to do those, we're not going to talk about those disciplines here on Sunday morning. Sunday mornings are going to be about what's the importance and value of these. What's at stake? if you want the content of going, you know what, I want to find some new ways in my life of moving forward to figure this out, you need to be part of a small group and say, God, what's a new pathway you have for me? Because I suspect that maybe we're not always that far off from the disciples. You know, there's a point in Jesus' ministry where he was like, look, I'm going away. And you know that way. You know the way where I'm going. And Thomas speaks up, no, we don't. We don't know. We have no idea where you're going. How can we know where we're going? We don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? I'm not sure what the next steps are. I'm spent. It's not like I'm starting out fresh. I'm spent. I don't how much capacity I have to get it wrong again. But Jesus' answer is really powerful. He says, if you call now in the next 10 minutes, and you have your credit card ready, I can show you those 5 easy steps that'll fix everything. Is that what he says? When they go, we have no idea where you or us, where anything is going. How do we know the way? Jesus says, I am the way. I'm the truth. I'm the life. And that's where this journey begins. It's almost with a different type of destination. Something that transforms maybe where we are going into a different type of thing. He doesn't just know the way. He is the way. And so that's what this series is about. It's about the way of Jesus and his invitation to us to go, are you lost? Are you willing to ask for some directions? Are you tired and you need strength? Come my way. And so that's how we'll begin. It's with an invitation to say, all right, yep, I'm there. I need a new way. And I want to explore that. And I want to understand it. I want to be part of a small group so that I can open up my life and say, Jesus, show me how you are the way forward for me. Let's pray. Lord, we get upside down and twist it around and lose our way and get frustrated of how did we get here? But you know the way because you are the way. And we hear your invitation today to go, come follow me. Take my path. Walk with me. I pray, Lord, that we would set aside the pride that says, no, I'm not going to ask for directions. Nope, I'm not going to give up on what I have. Nope, I don't need to follow anyone else. And lay those things down and say, God, what do you have for me? Because what I've done has just got me back to where I'm just starting again. Show me your way.